Yo guys, yo guys, yo guys, yo guys, yo guys. It is Old Man G here, back again with another live show. It's RDS here. Remember, guys, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe. Two Red Devils, two Joe. Bottom right hand corner link to all socials in the description. But we're here on this lovely summer evening to talk about Viktor Gyökeres to Manchester United 70 million deal. I know it's been out for some time. Bear with me, folks. I want to react to it. We're going to be talking about MBEUMO as well, Oshimen update, and a little more. It's good to be live this time because we are actually getting quite a lot of updates of news around this time. So I will obviously be reacting to news that comes into to the channel live. We're obviously expecting a new MBEUMO update, for example, and so on. So please do with me. Remember, get involved in the community if you are new. Like and subscribe. Get involved in the comments as well. Let me know what your thoughts are as well. So we've got a poll up on the community tab which talks about Viktor Gyökeres to Manchester United. In fact, I'm going to set one up now. Do you guys think United should spend 70 million to get Gyökeres? I mean, that's the question, isn't it? We did obviously spend 70 mil more than 70 mil to get Rasmus Højlund. So let me know whether you think we should spend the same amount of money to get Gyökeres. I'm curious, guys. What do you guys think? Anyway, so as you can see, Ben Jacobs today basically posted a sort of saying that Viktor Gyökeres is open to Manchester United even without UCL football. No approach to Sporting yet. That's the key thing. I know I've seen a lot of people that are gassed, that are happy, etc. But the reality is that there's been no approach from Manchester United. The only main thing is that we know that Gyökeres wants Manchester United. That is definitely key. He wants Manchester United, even though they do not have UCL football. Okay, and I think we discussed this before in the channel about the fact that because of the link between Amorim and obviously Viktor Gyökeres, at the end of the day, Zahir, big up Zahir's in the chat, says even run. I did say the other day, if he's distributing Arsenal United, yeah, exactly, and you were right, Zahir. Big up to you, bro, because obviously I think money is going to be involved in it as well. And as the part of this post does say, no approach to Sporting, but yet, and several other European and Saudi suitors, but Ruben's still in touch with the player. Sporting will sell for around 70 mil. So I think you can safely say that if United were to somehow find 70 million euro, which is equivalent of about 60 million pounds for Gyökeres, we will get him. The key, though, I think anyway, is the fact that Manchester United need sales. Manchester United need plenty of sales in order for this to work out. And MBEUMO obviously is a target irrespective of what's going on. So as a result, and we'll talk about the MBEUMO bid as well, because that obviously is going to affect things. But yeah, United need to basically sell. United need to sell. Temujin says, yes, I'm happy to Gyökeres and MBEUMO. Simmons, Emi Martinez to United is better for next season, please. Oh, yes. I don't necessarily think, by the way, I don't necessarily think these signs are necessarily going to Manchester United is going to turn around Manchester United. The season's going to just completely sort of go and say. However, I do think it'll be a massive improvement. Zimmer says, forget the goals. He's so much more. I hope so. I hope so, Zahir. I really, really do. I hope so. Because we need goals, so we can't forget about them, but we also need more link-up play, various other things. I think the disappointing thing about Højlund was that even some of the basics he wasn't really doing, and also I guess the concern for some United fans might be, Gyökeres balling in the Portuguese league. Does that translate to the Premier League, which is more physical, etc.? How that work? I don't know. I hope it does work, obviously, and I'm sure it will, but it's one of those things where, we'll wait and see. But I genuinely believe that it's clear to see that Amorim is in contact with Gyökeres, is monitoring him, wants him to come. I think that there probably was an agreement. I think as well, if United had secured CL football, that this wouldn't even be a discussion. I think we would have gotten Gyökeres and MBEUMO and Kune with very little effort. Maybe we would have to work on sending off one player. The fact we don't have Champions League football obviously makes things very, very difficult, not just from an attractive, but also a financial perspective as well. So, you know, if Arsenal do intend to go for Benjamin Sesko, which looks likely, and although the report says, you know, he's not going to Saudi, that's obviously not going to happen. But, you know, what other European clubs are we talking about here? You know, what other European clubs are we talking about here? Because really, aside from Arsenal, I don't know what other European you know, could Chelsea be in? But Chelsea have just given Delap the number 9, which seems a bit odd if you wanted to sign Gyökeres as well. So, you know, we'll see. Zaya says he works his socks off, decent touch, links play, loves the inside left channel. Yep. Paul says Gyökeres is a fearless striker who isn't mindful if he gets injured, but a good score. Yeah, and this is what United need. United need a United desperately need someone who can find the back of the net. Okay, I don't expect Gyökeres to come in his first season to ball and to get 30 plus goals, etc. You know, so but I do expect someone who can certainly get at least 15 minimum in all competitions, and someone who can contribute more being up top. This is one of the reasons why, for example, a lot of United fans prefer Xerxes over Højlund, because even though Xerxes doesn't score a lot of goals, what Xerxes does on top of that, you know, linking up play, dropping deep, his technical abilities, while finding right passes, through passes, people appreciate Xerxes. And Xerxes was booed at the beginning of the season. They were like, this is guy. But now everyone is like, you know, Xerxes is great. Xerxes is fine. We miss Xerxes. You know, I'd actually make the case that if Xerxes hadn't got injured, I would have started Xerxes in that Europa League final. I would have. You know, I think he would have been a better fit up top with linking people than Honors. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Zaya says, guys get stronger the longer the game goes. I genuinely think he is the best striker on the market. Yeah, I don't really see, you know, obviously Oshimen is there, and Oshimen, I don't think any United fan would be unhappy. And I'm going to talk a bit about Oshimen later, because there has been obviously an update regarding his potential move to Saudi. So we will talk about that. So I don't think Oshimen is a bad shout. But yeah, I think of all the strikers that are available, Viktor Gyökeres is there. And like I said, if you're now putting that in the context of of the likes of Kune, you've got Oshimen and you're playing Kune in MBEUMO. I guess Bruno fits into that somehow. I don't know whether he drops deeper. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he plays as one of the number 10s. It's tricky for me to see where Bruno actually fits into this whole thing. So, but you know, but whatever happens, it certainly makes us stronger. Mokaya says, do you think MBEUMO's deal to United will drag for so long? No. I do think that we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So I'm right to draw questions, but we'll get to MBEUMO bid. But to quickly answer the question, I don't think so. The only thing though is that Brentford do have the cards. They have triggered a year on extension, which means that he's got 2 years left in his deal, and Brentford don't have to sell. So the reality is that Brentford, you know, are like, listen, pay us what we want, and then it's fine. So for me, the question is more about how you negotiate. Do we pay in installments? Do we have easy add-ons, you know, that sort of get triggered that way? Those are the sorts of scenarios that I think that we could consider, because as we'll talk about later, the United obviously have lowballed. The other thing as well is how keen MBEUMO is to push obviously the deal and to get, you know, to get the deal sort of going through. That is also part of it as well. You'll love him within 4 minutes. I'm telling you, there's Sporting fans who would have over Cristiano and Figo. Wow, I mean, that's big, man. That's big. I mean, I really hope we do get him. I do, but the reality, I think, as as Benjamin says, Sporting will sell for around 70. I wonder if we can lowball it to maybe put an offer for 60, 65. But I just think that if we're going to put from MBEUMO, we've got to sell. We've got to sell. And although it's been nice to hear about, incomings, we also need to hear about outgoings as well, because Sancho obviously is going to be gone. Anthony looks like we've gone. We've heard more about those two guys, and then now, but really, you're making a loss on Anthony and Sancho, a significant loss. But with Rashford and Garnacho, that's where the money is going to be, and that's where Rashford and Anthony sales are Rashford and Garnacho sales are basically where the money is going to be made this summer transfer window. Not on selling Anthony or Sancho or even Onana. If that sort of happens, it's going to be on Rashford and Garnacho. One of them is going. And if you can sell Garnacho for 60 and Rashford for 40, you've got 100 mil. You can probably secure that Gyökeres and finalize that MBEUMO bid. And then the question is, and then probably for me, you probably have enough funds to maybe make one more signing afterwards, is what I'd expect. And then the question is that a goalkeeper? Is that midfielder? Personally, for me, I think it should be a midfielder. That's my sense. Let's do comments now. Green light. Jay Red says MBEUMO, Ahmad, Mazwari will be massive losses when they all go to AFCON. Ooh, Jay, that's a very good point. That is a very, 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 very good point. Very good point. Now we need to consider. Because is AFCON when is AFCON? Let me have a look. When is it? Because I thought they moved the tournament from January. Let me see. AFCON 2026. Oh yeah, it's in December. It's in December. Oh yeah. It's December this year. Why are they having it in the winter? I don't get that. But yeah, it's the AFCON is this year. I didn't even appreciate, like, what? They're having it. This is the first time I've seen an AFCON in during the winter time. Literally, the tournament starts on 21st of December. You got to win. Well, I mean, I know that they start in January, but like before the winter season, Christmas, you literally got Algeria and Sudan playing on Christmas Eve. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, there's football there. But yeah, you're right. You're right. That's actually because obviously, if we don't sell Onana will obviously go. Ahmad will go. MBEUMO will go if we sign him. Mazwari will go. Is there anyone else that will be going to AFCON in the United team? I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head. Yeah, just those four. Yeah, that will be a loss, I think. Yeah. I don't think that in terms of because Mazwari, I think we get a win back. I think that'll be okay from the defense point of view. I think will be fine. Ahmad will be a blow on that right wing back area, which is why I think we need to get another wing back. And MBEUMO, I mean, if you do get Kune, you can put, so I think we'll be able to compensate, but it's a good point. Red Devil, can I ask you, Nigerian? Heritage-wise, yes. I was born in London, but heritage-wise, yes. Honestly, RDS, I'm just enjoying the comments of this structure showing we had a plan going into the window and we're doing it. And the lap went to Chelsea, went straight from MBEUMO. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing. It's like even last season when we signed the players, I could see what we're trying to do. I will talk a little bit about Jason Wilcox and how I think that him being the new director of sporting may help. Because I think the players or the signings will be done not necessarily just for the manager, but also for Manchester United as a whole. I think a good sporting director will sign players. Like one of the things I'm worried about is that you're just signing players to suit one particular manager. I just don't think that's right. Because if Amorim starts and we have an awful season, and you sack him, then we're back to square one again. You know, we need to sign players that another manager can come in and go, okay, yes, and Mbeumo can play as a number 10, or even up as a 9, but he's also can play as a right winger as well. You know, so for me, you know, that's basically the how we should sort of think about things. Stanley says, "Let's get these deals done before we head out to preseason, please, with a good goalkeeper." I mean, Stanley, I hear you, buddy. I do hear you, but I just think that replacing a goalkeeper is it's. I think Amorim wants to replace Onana. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The only thing I would say is that I just don't think that it's a priority. I just don't think it's a priority. Remember, guys, we've got 40 plus people watching. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio bottom right hand corner. Let me just and let me know what you think. Obviously, in the poll, which I'm gonna have a look at now. Let's have a look. Let's look at that poll. Let's have a look. 66 votes. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, it's a landslide here. Do you guys think? Yeah. So, yeah, 90% says we should spend. 70 says yes, and about 7% of you say no. I'm assuming 7% are haters. I would imagine they are. 62 million is a bid is getting okay. Raul Thomas says, you got to ask why haven't the Champions League teams made a bid for Gyökeres? Perhaps they know something. I don't think so. I think it's also if you look at the Champions League teams, if you look at the circumstances, for example, you also got to ask where would they fit. Okay, so if we go on the major teams, for example, he's not going to go to Bayern because Bayern have Harry Kane. So why would they spend on Gyökeres, for example? You look at the Spanish clubs, Real Madrid, Barcelona, none of them really have seen, from what I've observed, seem to be, I mean, Barcelona still have Lewandowski, I guess, but none of Real Madrid and Barcelona have really signaled to people that they want to go and get a striker. I've not got that impression that Real Madrid or Barca are, as a goalkeeper, there's defense, but as a striker, not really. Then you look at PSG, don't think so really. They've obviously got a few strikers that they actually want to offload. And then so now you're left with the Premier League, because no, it's not Syria. He's Syria. Sorry, we'll just put that out of the way. So really, in the Premier League, obviously, Liverpool still have Nunes. They have got to offload him first. City have got Haaland. They're not going to be interested. Newcastle have Isak, so they're not really interested. So it really is, in my mind, it's between us, and obviously the Saudi clubs are going to be obviously interested. But in my mind, it's between Arsenal and United. Arsenal in the striker, and if Arsenal are interested in getting Sesko, I don't think there's much competition there. I don't think. Let's get to 50. Yeah, let's get to 50 likes, guys. Let's get to 50 likes, guys. Come on. In fact, but yeah, I don't think it's a thing that he's got some weird thing that we don't know about. I don't think it's that. I just think that every team has got different circumstances, is what I would say. And also as well, we've got to remember, Raul, he has that relationship with Amorim. Like, Amorim was his coach. He's the one who brought him to Sporting, made him who he was. So and obviously as this process, Amorim has been in touch with him regularly. So you can't obviously dismiss that as well. It's someone Africa. Yeah, I know it's someone, but usually I thought that you're right, Meg. It's just that I thought that they had usually when I've watched AFCONs, they've usually been beginning in January, not December. So there must be a reason for that, why they put because December time is peak Premier League and so season. So there must be a reason as to why they're bringing it back a little bit. The other thing as well is that I'm sure that a lot of Premier League clubs complain about players going away for the AFCON. So why couldn't they And the last tournament, if I remember, was in the summer. So I don't know. Temagin, United. What? So I'm just laughing at wife with it. United. I want to Gyökeres with bro Simmons and United. I wish. Oh, big up, you're South African, Mega. Big up. Like Elon. 67. I mean, let me know if there's been any transfer updates with Ornstein or Fabrizio Ben Jacobs opposed to anything. We'll obviously react to it. Jay says Baleba from Brighton be my dream midfield signing. He will cost a lot. Brighton, Jay, sorry buddy, but Brighton won't part away with him for at least, I would say, close to 100 mil. The biggest noticeable thing is getting in good signings and putting them on sensible wages. Exactly, not excessive wages. We can't be people. I'm not wanting to see United players on freaking £300,000 a week anymore. You know that. I think there's a reason that they're wanting to phase off the likes of Rashford, Casemiro, even Shaw, other players that if you're going to be on that, you've got to earn it. For me, if you're going to be on that, you've got to earn it. And I don't know. I don't think there's a single player in this Manchester United side that really earns, that really deserves to be on more than 300k a week. The best players for United right now, the likes of Yoro, Heaven, Ahmad, Manu, etc. These guys are nowhere near that. Interesting work. Yeah. So yeah, that's we can't be we can't be doing those mistakes. We can't. We absolutely can't. So yeah, okay. SSC, get the likes up. Yes, buddy. Yes, buddy. So Portuguese league and 2 seasons straight, he has carried injury at the back end of the season. Okay, that's good to know. Lucky again. Vidal was out during Tottenham 45 million, Sancho 40. I mean, I don't know whether we're gonna sell Sancho for 40 million, to be honest. I like it, but I think the problem was that when you cuss players out like Garnacho and José, you reduce their value. I don't think Sancho quite understands that his beef with Ten Hag really minimized the value of the player. It really, really did. People just don't, they want to avoid the thing. And at the end of the day, the fact that he had opportunity at Chelsea to go to Chelsea and just ended up just being it just, what's the word? Just bailing out for money, is what it is. Also, Comac says we have 100 million to spend up front. The rest will depend on what players we sell according to pesos. Yeah, so for me, that's why getting Kune and MBEUMO will probably be okay-ish within what the money that we have. But once we sign those 2 players, everything else left is up for is up to sales. It's up to sales. Okay, I really think Gyökeres says I really think that Manchester should go for Oshimen. I mean, he's always been an option, and we'll talk about Oshimen in a second because obviously there has been an update regarding Oshimen's transfer news. But the thing with Oshimen has always been wages. It's always been his wages. Now, he must seemingly like life in Turkey, because I think Galatasaray want to sign him permanently. He's not going to while Conte is still at Napoli, he's not going to be going back. Lukaku's a striker, so something is going to change there. I don't know. He joined Sporting because of Amorim. Respect him a lot. Yep, exactly. Beef Bobby, Red Cell, Garnacho, Hoyland, Anthony, Rashford. Once more, can we do it? Think so. you got to understand though is that like we I think of it as you're making a loss though. So you're not generating money from players that we overspent on. So Højlund and Anthony, for me, if we sell them, they're losses because we're not going to. Anthony is not going to be sold for 90 million plus, and Højlund is not going to be sold for 80 million plus. So we're selling those at a massive loss. We're talking tens of millions of pounds at a massive loss. Yes, we don't pay their wages anymore, but we've still lost tens of millions of pounds effectively. You know, Garnacho, on the other hand, and Rashford on the hand, because they're academy graduates, so they're in quote free. Any selling that we make profit on, and obviously it helps with our PSR because they're homegrown players. So the money will come from the sales of Rashford and Garnacho, not necessarily Højlund and Anthony. At least that's my perspective. Jason, do you think see Sancho get a new club, or do you think he can just run the contract down? I mean, that's a good question, Jay. That's a good question. I like this internet community, guys. Thanks. Remember, if you're new, like, subscribe to the bottom right hand corner. You know, I like interacting with the community in chat. We might actually start doing Q&As again. You know, that is a good question. And I'll be honest, I think, like I said before, Sancho has really put himself in a predicament here. Because of all the talk of I want to be a baller, I want to play football, I want to do this. He still wants wages. And if the rumors were to be believed, Chelsea only wanted us to pay about 130 to 100 to 150k a week, I think, on his salary. He's currently getting close to 300k a week at Manchester United. So he'd lose half of his wages. And I think he said, well, okay, I want to go to 200k, and they wouldn't accept that. So what club in Europe, in the Premier League, etc., is willing to pay 200k a week to Jadon Sancho? Because I think United was still paying Sancho 50k a week, and Chelsea were paying, I think, 150. I think that's how it was. So he was on 200k a week, but it was a combination of Chelsea and United's money. So he wanted Chelsea to obviously, you know, continue, so he still be on 200k, and Chelsea was like, nah, we're not doing this. We're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this anymore, bro. We're not doing this anymore, bruv. Okay, we're not doing this more, bro. Come on, you know, it's just not happening. So you know, these are the things. So and fundamentally, to answer your question, I just think that he's. I'll be honest. I think he'll run his contract down and he'll do another loan move. I think we'll work something out with Dortmund. With maybe an option to buy of some situation with them. They're really the only other club I can see going in for him, especially Champions League football. And they've not made any major sales so far. So yeah, a loan move with possibly an option to buy extended is all I can see. Because yeah, the guy he's played a blinder here, not blind. I mean he's played it's not worked out. Redmond, how many do you think we can buy right now? On the console without sales, maximum 2. I think once MBEUMO was signed, we need to start selling players. I think with player sales, we can probably buy another 2 players. More than that, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, because you still got high wage earners like Casper in the club and Luke Shaw at the club, for example, as well. So I'm not sure. But I think for me, I see United, especially if we're as efficient as we are, I think United will make 4 signings. I love if they can make 5, because like I said, my deal would be, obviously, we've got Kuna, we've got MBEUMO, you get your striker in GYOKERES, you get a midfielder, you get a new goalkeeper, and you get a another wing back. So 6. but the wing back and the goalkeeper not the priority, are not as essential priorities to me. We also have another wing back in that Leon guy from Paraguay coming, I think, still. And then you got your goalkeeper. So the 4 should be the midfielder, and the other 3 should be the priority for me. We can't have. I'm sorry, but the midfield cannot be Casemiro and Bruno as the 2. It can't be. Like, or Ugarte and Casemiro, or Ugarte and Bruno. It just can't. That just can't be the midfield going in. If it is, then it doesn't matter that we signed all these strikes, etc. It's going to be a problem. Tristan says, seeing how much Gyökeres is, how did we spend? I don't know. Tristan, buddy, I've got no idea. I have no idea. All I can tell you is that Ten Hag, he switched to Ten Hag's agency. My theory is that Ten Hag was there's a reason why a lot of the players he signed, he knew or was close to. I think Ten Hag was getting a few cutbacks from his agency, or the agency that he happens to sort of work with. I think there was a lot of that, I'll be honest. Beef Billy, lucky, no, he goes to another. Oh, it's lucky. Okay. Evan Pepper says, what do you think? The chances are of Gyökeres happening, this must mean perfect and its player. Yeah, I think this post, obviously, by Ben Jacobs shows the possibilities. I don't think there's as much competition as you think. Oh, sorry, guys, 1 second. Sorry, guys. But I think at this point, I'd say it's 50-50. I think we can sign him, but we need to sell Avarashlo Garnacho. We need to sell Avarashlo Garnacho. That's what I would say. Detroit, big up Detroit City. Shout out ideas. Are you disappointed that Bruno's saying? I'm not sure. I'm sort of indifferent, I think, because I think a lot of people reacted. People reacted differently. I think a lot of people. It'd have been nice to have had the 100 million. I think if Bruno had gone for 100 million, then the Gyökeres goes in easily. So it does make things complicated from a signing point of view. At the same time, though, clearly Ruben Amorim wanted the player. Clearly, he wanted to stay. You can't force a player out. And I don't think it would have been great for morale going into next season if Bruno had gone. So the fan base, obviously, a lot of them wanted him to stay. So it's one of those things where, like, it is what it is. Make sure you like the video, like the video, subscribe. One more call. We're on the road to 4.4 thousand subscribers. Actually, we want to get to 5K subscribers as well. So please, 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 if you're into the channel, please support the channel. Sorry, Joel. The 2020 window was an absolute travesty and has set us back at least 5 years. Hoarding month, yeah. Here's some great comments and great statements as well, by the way. That's why I love interacting with this community. Absolutely. 100%, absolutely. And again, Ten Hag, like whatever you say about like Ollie or even Jose, at least Ollie's signings, we still, we still use them. We still use Maguire. We still use Bruno. Okay, Sancho was probably the flop, and Ronaldo was an issue. I'll give, but a lot of these signs are still integrated into the team. Ten Hag, a lot of his signings have just balled it. I mean, we're not even talking about Lisandro. We still have Lisandro Martinez at the club, although he's injured, but he's there. Is he going to go? Where does he come into this defense? If you got Euro playing, if you got Heaven playing, if you got Maguire, who's now sort of doing really well, but of course he's playing in the back three, etc. So yeah, for me, I don't know why there aren't Manchester United fans saying Mount should be sold. You're talking about generating funds. For me, Mason Mount should be sold. I generally don't understand the love this guy has for someone that has not really done that much. But anyway, I like this union structure. There won't be any ridiculous spending on players like in the past. I want to see how we deal with the shit show. We'll see. I mean, I'll be honest. Like I said, I've still got criticism because I'm not going to be gassed like a lot of United fans are, because I still remember the fact that we finished 15th. You know, United still finished 15th place. So whatever happens in this thing, let's wait and see, because Manchester United finished 15th. And and that's just not good enough. 15th place, yeah. Let's hold up for a little bit before we say that United are going to be back and are going to keep competing, doing X, Y, and Z. Cunha and everything. Carpi says Cunha and Brownjack would be deadliest fun free. I mean, it would be destructive. The only thing, like I said, it would be where does Bruno play? Bruno has to play in the midfield. If you're going to put Kuno and MBEUMO and GYOKERES, which would be, tasty in that system. Unless he goes back to playing the wingers again, and so you play MBEUMO on the right, not the left. Kune behind, GYOKERES up top, and then maybe someone like Ahmad on the right. Then maybe you could do that. But he obviously doesn't play with wingers. That's not the system. I think 6-7 goalkeeper is vital. Onana is so bad. Get Martinez someone. Is a goalkeeper vital? I don't know, because while I agree that Onana is bad, it's not like we conceded like 3 or 4 goals every game. Like, this is the thing. It's like, if we were scoring on average 2 goals a game, then it wouldn't matter. Like, I look at last season, and a lot of the goals if we lost games, they were by maybe 1 goal, 1-0, 2-1. There was never a time when, unlike in Ten Hag's last season, when we were getting baptized. I remember in Ten Hag's last season, we were getting like 7-0. Like, people need to remember. I know we finished high up to the table, but I still remember in Ten Hag's we were getting back 7-0, 5-1, 6-0, all that sort of stuff like that. Absolutely. We weren't baptized this season, even though we did well. So there is a big part of me that is like, okay, like, for example, against Chelsea, we lost 1-0. If you have and also this season, we created so much. We actually created a lot of chances. But watching Højlund up top, watching Garnacho be selfish, and really only Ahmad being the only real light, and you're relying on a 21, 22-year, I think Ahmad is, to score you goals. Nah. I want to see, yes, the keeper needs to be replaced, but I want to at least see a team or situation, because with at least when McTominay was scoring goals last season, we won a trophy. We won trophies when we had goal scorers in this team. We removed goal scorers in this team. We come 15th with 0 trophies. But it is what it is. Red or Dead says Garnacho, Sancho, Rashford, Schwanz, you've got to be worth 100 million or a back of what's it. Like I said, we'll be taking a loss on Sancho and Anthony. How much did we pay for Shaw? Was it 30 million? You could probably sell Shaw off for what we sold him. Rashford and Garnacho, the profits, yeah. They would all sell for more than 100 mil, definitely, but we'd be taking losses on Anthony and Sancho, definitely. Those 3 all have goals in them. I'd be amazed if you don't see dramatic. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not saying we shouldn't get no goalkeeper, but like, if you got GYOKERES and MBEUMO and Kune scoring like 3 goals a game, it doesn't matter to me if Onana makes 1 mistake like a game. Like, and we concede 1 goal, because they're winning games 3-1 all the time. So it's not really a big deal. Whereas if we don't get a competent attack and a functioning midfield, then that's when you do have to look at the goalkeeper. That's where, for me, it's like, if we weren't getting an attacker or we're changing the attack, I'd say, right, we need to get a new goalkeeper, and we probably need to get a new wing back or something. But because we seem to be focusing on our attack, There we go. Red Devil United, big up, Rich, Rich. Make sure you go and subscribe to Red Devil United, his channel. He's on the road to 5K, so please hit up Rich's channel. He does a lot of live streams, I think 3 times a day now, 2 or 3 times a day. So yeah, please go and support him as well. I say I do my live streams usually at around 10 p.m. BST, but please go and support him. Does Bruno staying help get Mbeumo? I don't know whether Bruno stays does that. I think Bruno. I don't think it's Bruno that has the pull. I just think it's Mbeumo. I think it's Amorim that has the pull. And the United hierarchy in Ineos seems to have some common sense when it comes to football instruction now. How long that lasts, I don't know. Before I read some comments, let's quickly move on to some further, because we talked about Gyökeres for a while. So let's just quickly give, I know in the top we've got a bit of an Oshimen update. So this was actually posted not that long ago. And it says, from Fabrizio, understand Viktor Oshimen deal with Al Hilal about to collapse as there's no agreement with the player. Galatasaray have entered strong in the race trying to get the deal done. So he's not going to, Oshimen is not going to Al Hilal. I have always said that I would have liked Oshimen or would like Oshimen at Manchester United. I'm not entirely sure how, frankly, Galatasaray is strong, how Galatasaray are going to pay the wages for Oshimen. You know, maybe they're rich. I don't know. Maybe there are. Someone in the chat, if you're Turkish or from Turkey, explain to me how it's going to work. Because the biggest reason why United aren't going for Oshimen is purely his wage demands. I think the release clause is better financially. I think for United, I think you could get Oshimen for anywhere between 50 to 60 million euros, but his wages are ridiculous. I don't know how Galatasaray would be able to I don't know how Galatasaray would be able to get him. You know, I just don't know. Let me see where my comments are. Yes, I'm here. Does Bruno? Yeah, so I answered that. So yeah, my Anthony to Leverkusen, something like that. I'd be happy tonight. I would be happy too. I'd be happy too. But latest I checked, it was Anthony to Sevilla. I suspect Anthony wants to stay in Spain. I think he wants to stay in La Liga. That's what we've seen. So let's see. Can we get loan deals in and free ones? I mean, I don't know why Jonathan David is not an option for Manchester United. I'm still surprised as to why Jonathan David United aren't considering Jonathan David, to be honest. He's on a free. Again, is it wage demands? I don't know. I really don't know. You know, Müller, Sané and Müller, no. I would, especially with how physical the Premier League is. Sané, Müller, no. But Jonathan David, yeah, I don't know why. People, if only we won versus Spurs, we would have. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it literally is that, because I know Spurs aren't going to spend money. It's all going to go to Daniel Levy's pocket, and that's why it was so significant. If we got on CL football, you know, there wouldn't be a debate with a lot of these signings. There wouldn't be, but because we didn't, here we are. We need to make sales. This is the nature of football, and the reality is that the United players would or should know this. They should know it. Jay, the Ten Hag knows how Banana is. That's why Bayern Leverkusen went for the Brentford keeper, and he never went for Nana. Interesting. But why did he sign him though? That's the thing. I don't understand. Again, you know, why did he sign him? And he deliberately let De Gea go. I don't get it. It's a weird tactic. Unana cost United so many games a season alone. It's a joke. He lost United the Europa League by his mistakes. Let's not. Like, I'm certainly someone that believes on, but like I'm definitely not player FC. By that I mean,
You don't lose a game. Football's a team sport. You don't lose a game because of one player. At the end of the day, it was the match we lost were usually by 1 goal, 1-0. Why didn't our strikers score goals? Like at the end of last season, we played 4 games, I think, and failed to score. We didn't score against Chelsea. We didn't score against was it West Ham? We didn't score against Spurs. We didn't score against any of these London clubs. You know, like fair enough if like we are 3-0 ahead and Onana lets in 3 goals. I get that, but like, come on, man! Like we need to score. Like it's like our goal. If you work out the goals scored during the season, we scored on average just over 1 goal a game, which is terrible. You know, terrible for Manchester United. Yeah, but look, he didn't care about scoring goals. I need goals, you know. So yeah, I think it's important. Is my point. Is my sense. But anyway, yeah. Just regarding to the Austrian update. I mean, let me know what you think in the chat. Do you think that if whatever happens, Manchester United need to get a striker? Whatever happens, Manchester United need to get a striker. And if for some reason, obviously Delap has already gone to Chelsea. If for some reason Manchester United cannot get Gyökeres, then you know we need to get a striker from somewhere. That's as simple as that. If we can't get Gyökeres, Manchester United need to get a striker from somewhere. So it just is what it is. But yeah, I don't think there's much else to say from the Austrian update aside from just let me know what you think. Do you think United? I mean, imagine if we were still playing a 4-4-2-3 and having Gyökeres and Oshimen. That'd be something. We'd actually have money for that if we got Champions League and different, but we don't. Obviously, this is where Manchester United is. Let's quickly switch over to MBEUMO actually in a MBEUMO update now. I'll just quickly share this again from Ben Jacobs. Again, like I said, let me know in the chat. I don't think there is anything new that's come up in the last hour or so, but we will obviously be live to have a look and check. I'm just checking to see. Yes, man, Manchester City are gonna get Turkey. Jeez, man. Manchester City, it's just rigged, man. It's just rigged. You know, City, you know, PSG, with the money coming in, they're just destroying the leagues, man. As much as I hate Liverpool, it was nice, at least someone winning the league that wasn't Orrich Money Club. Because, you know, you spend 200 million in January, they've already spent money on, we're talking about United making news. United have made 1 signing. Like City have made, I think, at least 2 or 3 signs already and are looking to get Turkey in. Like what? It just is insane. It's insane. It's insane. But anyway, the MBEUMO move. So yeah. So according to Ben Jacobs, Manchester United have made an opening offer of 45 million and 10 million to Brentford to Bryan MBEUMO, and obviously Dave Saul mentioned it, but it does fall below Brighton's valuation. So that's 45%, which is 55 million, obviously 10 million pounds. Brentford want at least 50 million guaranteed, and are pointing to the 62.5 million paid for What's Kuna as comparable value. True. So, you know, they want 50 million. I suspect they want the same amount for Mateusz Cunha. So I think, and I think someone answers this question: how much do you think that Manchester United will pay or bid for MBEUMO? And my thing is that I think it's probably going to be 60. It's going to be close to the Cunha. I don't think it's going to be. It'll be 70 million euro. But it'll be 60 million pounds because we spent essentially 70 million euros on getting Cunha. I think it's going to be the same. I think United will cave. They'll find additional 50 mil from somewhere. I think maybe do you switch it to do like 50 million plus 5 million in add-ons to make it 55 million? At least the 50 million is guaranteed. That could be a way of going about it. Or, you know, you just give them off and you just say, right, 50 million plus 10 million add-ons. And I don't think we would I don't think we'd be going any higher than that. I.e. a total of 60 million in total, you know, is what I think. But I suspect the next offer will be something the akin of 50 million plus 5 million in add-ons, and see if Brentford will buy it. Because obviously Brentford want at least a guarantee of 50 million pounds before they decide on doing, you know, anything else. Whether or not they get that or not remains to be seen. But it's clear that MBEUMO wants Manchester United. I think if that wasn't the case, you know, sorry, there's the Turkey news all over thing. It's just depressing because I would love Turkey. You know, I mean, even in the match against Spain today, Turkey, I would love Turkey. I would love Turkey. I would love it. You know, so I would love Turkey to be Muslim, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens anyway. But yeah, let me know what you think in the chat, guys. Whether you think obviously MBEUMO, or how do you think MBEUMO will be a good sign to add to Manchester United? Like I said, I just think that like I said, I'll say this all over again, and I'll say it again. I think a lot of people are getting too gassed. I think, you know, we've only signed Cunier. Yes, there's news about MBEUMO. Yes, this happens every single transfer window. And it's great. People feel positive, there's optimism, etc. But I think people need to realize that Manchester United finished 15th last season, and arguably were worse than that because Spurs beat us 4 times. Spurs finished 17th, but Spurs, we lost to Spurs 4 times. So as far as I'm concerned, Manchester United finished 17th. That is where Manchester United finished, because we were worse than Spurs. So I think that we need to be careful getting gassed and getting excited from all these new headlines and these new newses and all these different things, when at the end of the day, you know, and even big up Ineos. Like, I still have reservations about the team, about management, about Ineos, etc. So we'll wait and see. It's great that it looks like we seem to be, you know, making positive signings, and doing them early, and how they'll fix. But you know, you only know what will happen until the season starts. Quite frankly, you know, we will see what happens. We will see what happens. But I just think that people just need to relax. I just think people need to relax. Yeah, just looking at Twitter now, I think, yeah, there's a lot of stuff about Gyökeres happy to go to yeah, Viktor Gyökeres. More about him to, yeah, more about him to United. Yeah. Yeah. We'll try. What I'm going to try and do is I'll try and get one of the journalists on at some point during the transfer window. It would be nice to have one of them on to just basically just discuss Gyökeres to Manchester United, except or other things. That would certainly be useful. So let me know what you think about that. I have been in touch with Fabrizio, funnily enough. So I do want Fabrizio to come on the channel. At least he certainly is more receptive to being on people's channels and shows and getting invited, etc. as opposed to some of the other, in quote, journalists. But yeah, I think that in summary, as we just sort of round the show up, Gyökeres obviously wants to come to Manchester United. The question is, do we even have the money to be able to? So currently, do we have the money to be able to bid for him? Not yet. We need to make some outgoings, so I think people need to relax on that front. But Gyökeres would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United if we can just sort of somehow get a hold of him. Then Oshimen obviously being the other striking option there. He's obviously not going to Al Hilal. Galatasaray could maybe sign him, but I don't really understand how they could, given that the wages. Maybe he enjoys it in Turkey. I don't know, but we probably need to figure out, is he, if we can't get Gyökeres, because I think that Oshimen would be cheaper, can we negotiate his wages down somehow? I'm not entirely sure. And then lastly, obviously, MBEUMO and Ghana got informed that no, we need 60 million. We need more than that. We need more. I as much as people talk about Garnacho, selling Garnacho, a player who's just turned 20, I know people talk about Garnacho, but at the end of the day, he's still only 21 years old. He's played top level Premier League football, and he's got a trophy. He's got he's not even in his prime yet. He's got so many years left to go. You can't sell you can't sell Garnacho for just 40 mil. If you're gonna do that, you've got to put in a sell-on clause or something. Not maybe a buyback clause, but definitely a sell-on clause, because this is the type of player who will go to Napoli, kill it, and then Napoli will then sell him, or whichever Italian club will sell him for like 80, 90 million when he is 25, 26. That is the nature of Garnacho right now. So minimum, if you're going to sell him, should be 60 mil. If you're going to sell him for less than that, you definitely put in a sell-on clause there. 100%. You can't not do that. Jensen can go to AC Milan for 27 million. I mean, maybe you can, but the reality is, again, can AC Milan afford his wages? I don't think they can. I don't think AC Milan can. Anyway, guys, thanks everyone for watching. Remember, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at WeAreNatX. Smash the notification button. Thanks for everyone who got involved today, and thanks for all the new subscribers. We will hopefully be back tomorrow as well. Hopefully, or whenever, when we get some latest breaking news. Have a nice day, guys, and cheers. Peace.